the conscious mind and the body. The conscious mind is attention. This attention can be focused inward on thoughts and feelings, or outward onto experiences of the senses, and both of these experiences can be happening at the same time to a varying balance for how you experience life. Okay, external, internal. So some of us very much live here, some of us live here, some of us are in and out of internal and external. It's like, I'm here, then I'm thinking, I'm here, then I'm thinking. A skilled conscious mind can be completely focused outward or completely focused inward for extended durations of time. Those who struggle with mental health are not able to have a strong control of this and can be trapped inside and unable to get out. The attention, inner and outer balance, can change from moment to moment and in different places and people. Depending on what you are thinking about and how you are moving can cause your attention to change too. The ability and choice of focus usually comes as a default condition from a young age. For example, those who have experienced intimidation can become hyper-vigilant, living in the mind, always on guard. Excessive use of TV and computer games with a lack of exercise, not using the body, is also a cause of this. So some of us you got the mind, body, external, like they'll live mainly in the mind, a little bit on the body, and a little bit outside. So if we go, really you want to be mainly in the body. Something like that. And then you can go into the mind as and when you want. So that's reality, that's being present. And then when you meditate, you just go in here. Or you go mainly in here and then a little bit on the body. Or sometimes you can even just meditate on the body without going into the mind. So it's your conscious mind, you can place it anywhere. If you're doing a meditation where you're playing golf or something, maybe you're concentrating on the outside. So what can also happen is people wake up, they get into their body. It's a default. They're aware of the same things: legs, feet, shoulders, arms. We want to become more and more aware of this body, and then we move differently. But what happens is people start to go more into the mind, or staying in here, or the mind it snaps. The conscious mind keeps snapping back into the mind. Like this, think this, think this, think this. And then their attention becomes less on the body. And they're not going to use it as well. And that's where you start getting stressed, because the way you're moving is not good for you. Or the thoughts, or using the mind too much, the adrenaline. So this can be changed by reducing stored fear, by dealing with all the thoughts that distract from the present moment, and changing perception and how awareness or attention is used. As I said, with the idea of appreciation, holding the pen. People can get stuck with their internal perception, preoccupied. For people, they feel bad, their attention is usually on the body. If they're sort of an emotion like depression, they feel everywhere. So we have our own personal percentage of how much attention we give to each sense we primarily live in. We primarily live in one of these areas, as we're all different. So you've got your eyes, It's good to use the eyes to mainly be in the eyes. You've got what you listen to, you've also got what you're thinking about, and then you've got what you're feeling. So as you change, you're going to be wanting to use your eyes more and use your body more. And a lot of people always like less of this. A personal percentage of that. Okay, so the clues are in your behaviour. If you have a lack of desire to do things that involve movement, or you prefer to not do things rather than doing something, this applies to you strongly. If you fail to feel enthusiasm run through you, it's blocked somewhere, as emotions are physical. The body may seem unrelated to mental health issues, but you may not feel the link because you've been that way for so long. Emotions are physical, and the only physical is you may know is what you're used to. It may only be later on that you realise how much that you're suffering now. When like that's the point you do is sad. Like if you can, once you get to feel good again, you realise how bad it was. So really start now on your body and just get through this as quick as you can. Awareness is your conscious mind attention, which can be placed anywhere and can completely change your whole experience of life. If so desired, you could spend an hour just meditating with your hands together, looking at your hands. Most of your experience will be on them. The eyes would still be able to be aware of different parts of the hand as focus changes, and what you feel in your hands as you keep attention on them would increase more details. If you look at your hands, you've got lines in it, but if you look closer and closer, you can see all the individual little lines rather than just the big ones. Detail, so you start to feel more in detail as well. Like your feet might just feel like big blocks of feet, but you should be able to feel the toes. And this can change moment to moment, but you're going to play with this until you're as confident as you can be. According to research carried out by George Miller, the conscious mind has a capacity to have only at one time 5 to 9 items of information at once. So focus on one area more, it's going to take attention away from something else. So when you're thinking, you're taking away from this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already. If I'm looking at something, where I'm going, that's 6. If I feel my knees more, if I'm concentrating more on my knees, 7 or 8. People are not fully aware of their surroundings as well, or their depth of touch. Should be able to be gentle and quick at the same time. People give a large proportion of this attention to what they were daydreaming about rather than on the things they were doing. As our body is habitual, we learn to keep the same awareness and attention and learn to delete information that we are not using. So eventually your default changes and you never give the attention necessary to prevent damage to your body. And not being aware of the warning signs that can build up. Awareness is necessary to keep correct posture, distribute weight properly and move correctly. It's also necessary to relax, and to relax is something you have to do, and while one is thinking, they are not relaxing and they are in fact contracting the brain. If one has a lot of beliefs and the thoughts keep their mind busy, then their mind never gets a chance to relax. When these thoughts are fear-based, it triggers adrenaline. So the awareness is then, it becomes stuck on the functions of the body that are associated with that state. Generally, a less wide attention, so you're more narrow focused. You use a fast twitch muscles more, or like a hyper alertness. So as one deals with all the thoughts and beliefs in the mind, they become less stressed as the mind is not using much thinking. You've been over this. Unfortunately, what you have to do if you had chronic, you've got to change completely how you experience life. It's worth the effort. You get to see all your senses come to life, all the colour and the crispness of life around you. Awareness is temporary at first, so you might only get a glimpse of a full awareness, but over time you're becoming more and more aware. So you're doing this in your morning routine, then a physical habit. The beliefs are still in your mind or outside the circumstance. They stop pulling you out of relaxed awareness as much because you're starting to live down here now. Over time, as you remove beliefs and the muscles begin to remember to move correctly, because at first you have to learn to be, like this, and then it becomes natural, and you can focus on other things. You'll be able to learn and respond better to outside circumstances too. Your mind becomes less reactive. As a result of this extra care taken for your body, less adrenaline releasing, you will stop saying things such as "I don't feel like it." There's a larger amount of extra care and attention that is needed in the beginning. Eventually though, as you learn, the unconscious learns to automatically hold a slightly tight grip of your muscles, your posture starts to change, that you first use, and while it takes care of this, your conscious mind, taste of food, enjoying new things, enjoying the view, during stretches. Okay, so you're going to be stretching, okay? I'd have flashbacks and memories I haven't thought of in years. There's a complete parallel, like I'd go do some of the beliefs work, I'd wake up in the morning, I'd have a stretch, and then that would happen. Like, in correlation between well then it was very different. It was very different. But again, so if I'd stretched the night, it was a big physical release if I had found something golden the night before. It's still nice to stretch anyway if I hadn't found anything the night before, but it wasn't as much. During there's like epiphany moments, like light bulb moments you'll be having. And as you start to do this, you find new areas that feel tight in the body and you realise they need to be stretched as well. The places in your body that are speaking loudest to you. As one part of your body heals, another part may come into your awareness that will require fixing. For example, tight hand muscles. The part that you're aware of next is usually the right one to stretch, to give attention to. For example, I was thinking about fixing my back. My hands came into my awareness and I thought, I haven't got time to do that today. I need to get my back ready for work before. Do you know what? I'm going to listen to my body. I stretched it and it really helped my back because it's all linked. So look at this. This is you. That right there, all that soft flesh and bones. Yet we are all running around like we are made out of steel. Yeah, to not warm that up is insane. Even for a desk job, because your head is so heavy. If you imagine a dumbbell and then a fish spine, it's the same kind of thing. That's what you're doing every time you move, about keeping the head in the centre of your body and your spine straight. Now you have an idea of how heavy this is. Imagine jumping up and down on concrete. The shock from the concrete is very damaging, but it happens over a longer period of time and people don't notice until they have shin splints. There is a reason that 90% of runners have to stop because of injury. It's not healthy. And again, we hear things like, no pain, no gain. So in as much detail as you can, go over your body and notice all the parts that are currently in your awareness. Prioritise what parts you're going to give attention to first. Right, and this is the process. Deciding not to think or daydream. It's the commitment. Right, I'm changing where my attention is and I'm going to move differently, be purposeful and gentle in all things that you do. Anytime you stop focusing on awareness, the unconscious mind takes over, which may not be the ideal program to run. So if you're not paying attention, if you don't leave enough time to walk somewhere in the correct speed, the unconscious comes in, you go too fast, and you get stressed. So as I tell you, the feel is not the same as to look. To feel is the same as to look or to listen, and it is best done once the individual's mind and the body are still. If you can still your mind, then you can still your body, and if you can still your body, you can still your mind. It must be more than a few seconds though, you must be able to do this for longer, because you're programming your mind to focus fully on one thing at a time, as this prevents stress build-up. By correct use of the body, and it improves performance. If you're trying to do two things at once, you're doing neither of them well, as 100% attention is driven down. A good thing that you can do, either first thing in the morning or late at night when others are asleep, is to go into the kitchen and cook something. Nothing too delicious though, in case it wakes them up. And notice how quiet, gentle and accurate that you will be. Now, if you can be that considerate to others in your home, perhaps you could treat your body with the same care. So this quiet and gentle way, admittedly, is slow at first, but speed is something you get later, is what you work up to. The important thing is to have a new use of the body. And the way to do it is to wake up as early as you can in the morning, and the only thing you're going to do for 30 to 60 minutes, just be aware of your body. Best to go outside for a walk. If you have grass in your garden, take your shoes off, put your bare feet on, or a park close by nature. Ideally when the moon is still out and the sun has just risen. From the second you wake up, you want to be doing everything in super slow motion to prevent the autopilot taking over. Through attention and movement in your hands, your feet, your legs, your muscles, they will change in weight and heat and feel more alive. It's like you're putting on a human suit. So experiment with kneeling, with squatting, with holding things, how you place your feet and you transfer weight. With your breath, explore your heartbeat, your lungs, your stomach, and start to bring it all into awareness until you have a complete experience. And once you're aware of everything in your body and you feel it's complete, go about your day from this place. Naturally. You'll notice that there is a big natural speed increase over the first hour that has arisen from the fresh air and your muscles in your body now being fully awake. It is believed that amongst chiropractors, 90% of the brain that we don't use, that mystery part, is actually used to coordinate our body's relationship to gravity. As you learn and implement the correct ways of moving, these positive movements will become automatic and faster. The first few weeks, there'll be a lot to notice, and you'll begin to notice newer things once you get the first things right. You may even have a lot of thoughts while you are doing this, so have a notepad ready for you as soon as you wake up. So you want your model of the world there, and you want your notepad, because again, everything's coming out and you got ideas. Do not think and continue doing things. Very important. Stop. Like if you think something, stop. Write it down. Don't be walking and doing this. It's 100% all the time. Be aware of your relationship to time. People that leave things until the last minute are motivated by the thoughts of pressure, as that's what gets them going. When you are doing that, you're propelled with this pressure, and you're not going to be moving correctly. It's either an internal or an external pressure that makes you move, and if it is internal, it may be a story in your mind of I can't be late because of X, or some other internal dialogue or pictures of the mind, and it can be down to poor planning. You've got to change your relationship with time, that there's more than enough, so you want to make the most of it rather than running out. Feeling like it's running out or is in short supply is only going to cause you to rush and be tense. Being tense is the enemy, as a tense person does not have access to all their mind's capabilities and the development of symptoms of anxiety-based disorders. Allow yourself to tense up every day. Guess what? You don't tense up anymore. You feel tense. You are tense. Your body's learned to stay tense. And these are my top tips. Rest before the crash. Become aware of pain and tiredness sooner. So you're resting, you're not recovering. Resting allows the muscles to relax temporarily before they then start tensing again for another length of time. Transport. Consider resting after cycling, buses, trains and cars, as we're not designed to be in those positions or travel at those speeds. Keep your weight on your feet and your posture upright and secured. Get muscular and strong so your body can handle the daily impact of life, and cardiovascular fit to reduce the likelihood of getting stressed so you can relax your heartbeat quicker. Avoid screens where possible. They have a tendency to bring your awareness all into your head. Aware around your life, around your body, having everything in reach from your desk so you don't have to move or lean unnecessarily. You want your furniture in your home so you don't have to step awkwardly. You want posture, to know about it. And remember, every time you don't follow the correct rules of posture, you're going to pay for it. You might not feel it straight away, but you'll pay for it by the evening. Normal. When it comes to the workplace, things are generally done the way they've always been. Never be scared to take control of your environment or influence your job role when it comes to your body. If it is damaging, you are in the right, so don't be afraid of that. The way you move may be that way because that's what everyone else is doing. A lot of people do things because they have to, and they get stuck in a set time and repeated pattern. Get up early and go outside and wake up your lungs to bigger capacity, oxygen and fresh air. Have different gears, so by getting up earlier you're learning what it's like to be slow, and then when you go fast later you are fast with more awareness. Life is a natural energy flow, like a restaurant. There are fast and slow periods during the day. There should be in your workplace too. To only be at a fast speed consistently is not sustainable long term. The body has its own natural rhythms. People come into a restaurant and it's effortless how all staff speed up. I believe this is because people bring energy with them and we're all connected. So trying to do this without that is, it's unnatural, I think. Now, you might not like to hear slow down, and neither did I. However, I encourage you to go fast if and when you're ready, and you will know that because you don't feel stressed or exhausted anymore. Speed comes with practice, and again, if you're slowing down, that stops anxiety too. You're going slower, you get your brain going slower, you get all that stuff out, and then you can speed up, and it's not anxiety, it's just enthusiasm. There's no nervousness. Also, enthusiasm isn't good to rush with. You still want to maintain your enthusiasm and then walk with it. And you go fast sometimes, but it's not like you're so enthusiastic that you're running everywhere, and you're still going to get exhausted that way and slightly stressed. Awareness affects psychology and bodies. It requires stopping. You've got to learn to stop what you're doing, deactivate the conscious mind. Your unconscious mind will bring to your attention parts of your body that need to rest, or they'll offer you thoughts. If your conscious mind is full constantly all day, then it can't do that. So your mind's going to be constantly giving you things you need to pay attention to. Then you want to manage stress by physical awareness, as described earlier, preventing escalation by pausing, relaxing, or walking off the adrenaline. Never rush. Trying to do a 20-minute walk in 10 doesn't save you time if you then spend an extra hour recuperating on the sofa. Even moving with excitement and enthusiasm is potentially hazardous if the person is not conscious of how they are moving. One thing at a time, standing up and reading, then afterwards laying down to rest are both more beneficial experiences than reading in bed. Feel your feet. A study on different emotions showed photos of emotions and relaxation is more than other emotions is awareness in the legs, whereas others were centered around the head and the body. Be aware of your body's relationship with thinking. If you were standing up and looking down at a problem, rather than sitting up or looking up at it, you're much more likely to solve it because you're changing your physiology, and all the emotions have relevant postures as well. It won't feel like it has a big deal. Be aware of how you absorb information. 2, your awareness on what you're doing. So if all this paperwork and that, if I started reading it all, you look at all the things you've got to do and you make it all up in your mind, and then you're overwhelmed. It's like you pick one thing, find something that works for you, and realise that you've got your own rules. And then, alright, I'm going to read this, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to read that, and then I'm going to do that. Okay, your exercise intention is to improve your mental and physical health for productivity, so you can change your life situation, so you're warming up to be able to sit at a desk later. Get off your phone when you're walking. Urgency will be less when you have no fearful hallucinations, and as you come to your senses, you will start to realise that what you've been reacting to is your own inner thoughts rather than what is really in the environment. You may notice that you think more than you thought you did, and you may start to begin to notice thoughts that you didn't have noticed before. As you return to being fully present, you also start to notice emotions that you used to ignore or suppressed. You may begin to feel extremely bored or dissatisfied with your life, and you may feel scared and you may feel terrified about something. That is okay, as once you go through it and you deal with it and start changing things in your life or processing the emotion, it disappears. Remember that these kind of emotions are temporary, there's a reason for them, and you become more present and aware and happier as a result of this processing. Like stress and anxiety, there are patterns for depression, overwhelm, procrastination, and these are behavioural patterns. They happen quickly, so some will take getting used to be aware of, and are a combination of internal and external triggers. The real problem with having an exhausted body is that it causes idleness, which is not being in the flow of life and connected to everything and everyone else. I believe a prolonged amount of time in here, this depression, I said that. So use the table and see for yourself how you feel after you do certain things. Yes, that one before, which was the same for the stress. All done. Things you do, things you don't do, how you feel. Okay, so you want to have a toolbox. Okay, you're in, you fall down, feel terrible. So it's wherever it is where you get depressed or you get exhausted, you might lay on your bed or the sofa, have something there ready, and you want these different things you can do that work for you. It might be going for a stretch, it might be a walk, whatever they are, have them ready, because when you're depressed or whatever, you might not think of it. But if it's right there, it's like, right, okay, I'm going to try this, so you don't spend any time there. Ideally, you want to bolster yourself up though by those habits we looked at studying, like meditating, yoga, all those things you can do. Rather than having to rescue yourself when you're down, you want to be getting yourself up before. Okay, last bit on the body. Okay, you want your rules as well, like an Achilles heel. So you can have some rules, like you're probably I've got no idea how you're going to be. But if it was me listening to this, I'd be like, right, I'm pretty motivated now. I'm glad I knew about this. I'm going to make sure I stretch every day. You might have intentions. So certain rules you're going to be like, I'm always going to keep my head centre. So have all your rules, but realise now you've got an Achilles heel. There's going to be something that's going to be like the worst thing you can do. So for me it was rushing. If I leave the house and I walk to the train station quickly, or where I'm going, I'm going to go to the train station. I haven't walked to the train station in a long time. Where would I walk? Anyway, so I walk to work. The worst thing I could do is walk quickly. That would mess up my shift. That would have messed up my evening as a result. Because then, so you need to have certain things that you never, and if you have like just one or two, them ones are likely to get paid attention to. So make sure you highlight that. Things have big knock-on effects. And find ways to make your rules easy for you. You know, perhaps staggering a series of habits or something. Right, and this part is for anyone that has any body pain, and for people that want to exercise. Like, exercising is so fundamental. Like, you might not be interested in it, but you should be. You know, we're biological machines. We're supposed to be exercising. We're living in a completely unnatural way. So the best thing you can do out of everything, and this thing rescued me, this thing will rescue you the same. If I say apple, do you picture a red one or a green one? This is the problem with language. So you may have an idea of exercise that is much more horrific than mine. Your version of exercise is not what I'm telling you to do. You do not want it to be an unpleasant experience, because then you'll start to condition yourself to not wanting to do it. This is about building associations so you can look forward to it. I have exercised almost every day for the last 3 years, and with a smile on my face. And for you, in the beginning, if mental health and reconditioning is your priority, you are doing it wrong if you cannot smile, and it should be gentle, easy, and enjoyable. After mental health, primarily, your second priority might be to change your life, which might take be more vigorous, longer hours. And the best way to do it with this in mind is to reduce stress. It's not to increase it. Since I implemented all this stuff, I've always looked forward to go to the gym. I've wanted to do it. And, you know, the gym you go to is important too. Don't go to one with terrible music. No point being motivated and then going somewhere and being brought down with depressing music. It defeats the point. So when you're strong and you fit the base level of emotion, you know, it skyrockets. There is no other single thing you can do to do the same. The reason is your brain needs blood and oxygen the same way a car needs petrol. So you'll be thinking clearer and faster, and able to generate ideas and process quicker. You'll have more access to your memory and imagination, and a better use of your language. There are over 100 billion neurons in the spine and in the brain. So it's equally important as the brain. You'll perform better as you have increased attention to detail of your eyes. You'll listen more, you'll focus better externally as these senses are awakened. All your muscles and the fascia, right? So we have a thin sheet. Imagine a Spider-Man costume. We're all wearing one of these, and some parts of it are tight, some parts of it are loose, and we need that needs to be loose so our bodies can be limber and move. But it's pulling people down because it's tight because they haven't exercised their lives or their whole lives. It's like elastic bands. We have, you know, the things that hold up your head can be like old elastic bands. They need to be strong. And your logical arguments could be, I don't have the time or the energy. Well, exercise, when done correctly, gives you energy, and you save time as you move faster the rest of the day. For me, well, I don't know if it's this strong now, but probably got more closer to 50% increase in productivity. Before it was like double if I'd exercise in the morning. If you've tried it, how long for? Have you done it every day? Have you done it for 20 minutes? Did you do it for 2 hours a day? Did anybody show you how to do it? You have to build a whole new body, my friend. Were you shown by a personal trainer? Have you done it with knowing about awareness and being gentle and being in your body, you know, and on your feet? Or are you thinking all the time? Were you watching those screens they have on the gym when you're supposed to be running on a treadmill? GMTV or whatever they have on there. This story will show you that there is no reason why you can't exercise, and will also show you the process I went through so you can really understand the benefits and the power of what I'm talking about. So I had an injury, physio believe it was a slip disc, and it turns out my spine was bent. I don't think I was born with my spine curved like that. I believe this happened from lack of correct posture, and I found this out after 6 months of the injury. Like everyone was like, yeah, you get injured, that's how it is, and I just carried on. I was thinking positive, which I was applying to everything else I was doing. Everything I was doing, I was rushing. I told you I had a fear of the economy and stuff like that. Anyway, a combination of that, wanted to do my best, all of it, 2 steps forwards, 1 step back. I was psychologically burnt out as well for years. I was just like run. I was all right, but I was no way happy. I had happy moments in that, but I was still set. I was tense. I was quite physically tense. I had acquired the suffer now the economy idea. Anyway, so a lot of different things went wrong at that time. Anyway, what happened was I was terrified every single night, and that fear then translated to social relationships, with myself around people. I was doubting myself for being self-employed again, and among other things, unrelated. So it generalised across all different areas of my life because it was in that period for so long. So my own mum said she didn't recognise her own son. So anyway, I knew even with the pain, I had to work the whole time. Like, I had to keep work. There's no way I was able to take time off and heal. The pain was bad. So the idea of exercising was literally the worst thing I could have thought of. In the mornings, it just started with stretches. Like in the beginning, first 6 months in England, I was just stretching in the morning. Maybe I was having a walk or something. But then when we went to Australia, there was fields and stuff like that, and I could go running. Barefoot because I knew the concrete wasn't good. And when it started to go differently, I started becoming aware of the ground and the energy from having my feet. I wasn't aware of this as much before, but my feet, when they're on the ground, I could feel that there's something from the earth it's affecting me. And if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would have fixed my back, because it gave me the power. So in the past, the reason I didn't exercise, and the reason you might have not been exercising, is because I just went to the gym and I just lift heavy. I'd have a little bit of warm up, and then it would exhaust me. So then I couldn't do that and balance a full-time job. So I changed it. So again, you have to think of your intention. So for me, at first it was healing. I need to heal. And then once I healed, went back, and it was getting better. I was like, right, I need to relax. And then I realised how important awareness is. Because if I'm aware during the day and I'm working, I'm moving correctly, that means when I get home, I can continue working. So I noticed a direct correlation between my posture in the day and moving and being aware. So I said, right now I'm going to do awareness. Then it was strength. Then it was endurance, and so the thoughts you think during exercise are affecting your body. So what is your intention? Anyway, I reversed my back injury, eliminated mental health problems, and conditioned myself to be able to work longer hours continually and sustainably and healthily. So what I did was, and this is what I did, you need to speak to a doctor or a professional health professional before taking advice. So this is the disclaimer. But what I did, and I don't recommend you to do, was jogging barefoot on grass or on a treadmill on socks. And when I would stretch, I would hold for 30 seconds, and I would increase that range of motion over time, gently and easily. And you treat your body like you're handling an infant. You be very aware of what you're doing. As I was with running, there was bounce, there was no thud, and eventually I could run for 3 hours. And I chose to do that because at one point I couldn't even sit up at a desk. I thought, if I can get to that point, then surely I can sit at a desk for a long period of time. Because your body's bent in different ways. So when I was working and standing upright, I could do things. When it comes to sitting straight, it was crooked. It was like, what is this? So I had to put things back into their place, and that's something you might have to do as well. Okay. You got to get on an inversion table. Unbelievable. Because apparently the jelly grows back into your brain. We're meant to hang from trees from our feet, like monkeys. So you're looking at if you can lay down once a day, just for halfway through the day, for 10 minutes, or do that thing where you touch your toes, but the jelly grows back after 10 minutes. That 10 minutes will then put it in extra padding, so then you can continue going. You want to be aware of your lungs and your organs. They felt for me like they were in the wrong position, and I felt like when I was doing this, like my lungs were coming away from my ribs. Muscle pain might be organ pain, so definitely stretch. And on yoga, I never really did yoga. I went to a couple of classes, but I just wanted to do my own thing. Like, they would do all these poses, and I thought, well, that's not really what I feel like doing. I feel like stretching my neck. So I didn't go very much. But anyway, what I ended up doing, when my feet, the sun was out, my feet were on the grass, like my hands naturally went to some of them positions that they do. And I think it's something to do with the energy flow. But yeah, so there's something to it. So go to a yoga class, or you can go, but definitely get on the grass. So I had changes, like my arms got longer, my head moved back, the way my body changed, everything's in my body. It's important to be aware of the organs as well, the heart, the lungs. So you want to be focusing on them, and the stomach. You need to be really aware of these. So then when you go to eating and your eating habits and things like that, and your diet, you're more in touch, you feel more, so you don't want to make bad choices. When leaving, some muscles needed to loosen, some muscles needed to tighten. I was always intuitively aware. And if I did this every day, and in the evening when I'd stretch, no stress would carry over for the next day. So you can have a stressful day, it's like all this stress you might be going through, it's like knocking it off. That was the day of stress, bang, done. Stress, bang, done. So it's not like one continuous bad dream. It's like you get chances to, if the day is a nightmare, at least the evening's going to be alright. Whereas if it's all one big nightmare, like I feel sad for you. It doesn't need to be that way. So get on to doing this. When finishing this exercise session, I'd rest for 10 minutes before going to work. So I'll try to stay relaxed as I went to work and take this meditative state with me. So I'd learn to live more being energized and relaxed. A lot of people are energized, but they're not relaxed. That's where they're going wrong. So for those who are injured, I cannot express the importance of grass and nature. I felt having my feet on the ground gave me strength. Leonardo da Vinci said the foot is the greatest invention in history, as it is so complex. There's a whole field called reflexology, where our organs are matched to the soles of our feet. They have a designated patch. I believe we absorb energy. I've been it wasn't for those sessions, I wouldn't be saying this now. I get physically sad when I see people running on concrete or going straight onto heavy weights when they go into the gym without warming up. I feel sad because people are trying so hard. They're enduring so much pain, yet they don't get the results because they can't stay long term. Consistency is key in exercise, as is doing it the way a knowledgeable professional would show you. The kind of pain and burn that athletes talk about is probably very different to the kind of pain someone who doesn't stretch and warm up goes through. Bear in mind that it took years for someone to get into this condition, so it may take them a long time to get it sorted. If you want big strong muscles, and you can lift heavy if you want, but there is a base to build first, and that is in control and concentration. Arnold Schwarzenegger said it best when he said he lifts a dumbbell curl, he exists inside of his bicep. Like, that's the kind of awareness, you're not thinking about anything, you're there. So feel your hands, your fingers, your wrists. You shouldn't feel pulling like on your neck and stuff like that. I have lots of different body sensations. You should be able to lift up and down slowly and fully concentrate on only the lift and nothing else. Yeah. Okay, final thoughts on the body. You want to be breathing. Breathing is only his own journey of awareness. You've got to understand that. Experiment holding your breath and capacity and the speed you breathe in. Heart rate as well, it's the core of relaxation. Get to know where your lungs are, get to feel them all. Diet, you want juices, you want green, purple, orange, all colours of the rainbow. Raw foods, get it from the market. More raw it is, the enzymes are still alive and will give you the strength and energy you need. And buy it from the markets rather than certain supermarkets, because if you look at some of it, it's plastic. It looks like fake fruit and veg. If you look at some of the other stuff, it is all different colours and shapes, and really, like if you've been shopping at the same place, look at your local markets. You pay more for it, but it's totally worth it. Juices as well. Juices are good because you don't digest right. You want to be your energy. Yeah, you need energy. So keep your meals something like breakfast at 8, lunch at 1, dinner at 6, or something like that. So 10 hours. You try and get all your meals in, because you need your digestive system needs to rest. When you're eating, all the chemicals you're eating in the food, all the sweeteners, bring all your awareness here. When really what you want to be doing is being aware of your stomach. So just be aware of that. Okay, for those who are working on their body because they feel insecure, I feel a certain amount of insecurity is good because we're all trying to grow and be better. And once you do get in good shape, you feel good about it. It's natural. You want to use have certain insecurities. It shouldn't be intense. It should be like, right, this is something I can improve on. There shouldn't be any kind of. You've got to keep your focus in the right place and not to have an extreme feeling. So the fix it in one life area, because the meaning they give it. People don't feel attractive. That's one reason why people do that. They focus on their body. But again, like, your body is 50% of it. The other 50% is who you are emotionally and your individual qualities. So, if that's someone that's got body image issues, like, you're focusing on the wrong place. So, just focus on being a better person, making better decisions, keeping your focus on doing the best you can, whatever it is you're doing, and that will make you a more attractive person. And if you're focusing on your work, that gives you energy. Believe it or not, we'll get to why in a moment. But then you can put that back into the gym then. And so anything body image as well is less like main reason people are exercising, and it shouldn't be. But you should be positive drives, not insecure drive. You've got to deal with all your own stuff. Okay, final chapter. Conclusion. So hopefully by now you have listened to this, you might have had some shifts internally. Hopefully this has been useful to you. Hopefully you may feel lighter or optimistic. You now know everything you need to fix your mental health and have a guide to continue to draw everything out of you. You may be battling with your current environment, and it may still be like you're hitting by a bus every day, but stay determined. Keep that sheet next to your bed. If you've got taken notes on this, to follow the instructions, and have your toolbox there, the things that are going to work for you. Remember the format for the beliefs and things. And you might have to battle with certain people as well that are putting pressure on you. You just got to believe you should be treated fairly and with respect. You might have to take a few leaps of faith. You might have to go against logic. You might be scared to do certain things. You might have to sacrifice certain things. And you've got until you can change all the unconscious autopilots and taking the pain out. It might feel like you're two people. So make sure you are running in the morning so you can be the one that doesn't have mental health issues. Continue to expand your model of the world. So when you read or talk to people or watch documentaries, you've got to know about the possibility and the truth. Keep journals of what you are learning so you have references to hand in case you slip back again. The world is only so big and there is only so much history to study, so it won't take long to make some big differences how you see things and build up a data bank in your mind of goodness and potential, and that will really help. Put effort into this, because you've got to remember that the way you've learned to view yourself and the world is completely random. You want friends from all over. Good music will help to rebuild you, as songs are collections of thoughts and feelings. Songs will remind you of who you are. Whatever it is that you have been through, whatever you're going through, you got to find that there are other people who have gone through it and come out the other side happy. We all have the same challenges. We have different challenges, but there are people who have the same ones. So your feeling of belief in what humans are capable of, ideally, will be stronger than how terrible you feel or how bad things are. If someone is similar to you and they've been through the same thing, that is very powerful. It reinforces how much you believe. You need to be inspired by as much as you can and have reason for wanting to be here. Like the perfect example earlier, you really want to be getting back to nature as much as you can. As you may know, we have fallen out of touch with the natural world. You want to manage the amount of information you're taking in, that you are consuming. There is only a limited amount your brain can take in one day, and also the quality of information. This information overload is completely unnatural, as are flashing images and sound. All of this change work is good, but get the real world experiences and talk to real people as soon as you can. You don't have to wait to be completely free from anxiety and depression. Just enough to tone it down so you can function. You may be different now as you used to be. I said you've got to get used to that. You start to become aware. Is it because do I need oxygen? Is it my thoughts that's the problem? Is it this person? Is it the way I'm sitting on the bus? This book, well, it was going to be a book, but I thought, no, I'll just get it out. Was written by me every morning, all in parts. And a lot of this stuff I've become aware of recently, in this kind of format. You know, the notepad, it just fell out. The unconscious mind seems to have the answers to all of our problems and cures, so it seems to happen when the patient is able to get inside a place of themselves, to hear instructions in their mind and learn something. The evidence online now is abundant in the power of the unconscious mind in causing remissions from cancer and other illnesses and physical injuries. The idea of going inside your mind and talking to your body has been made popular by the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe was hit by a car on his bike. You can look up his story, and he fell to the floor, and they said 4 surgeons said he'd need a rod for his back. And through meditations, it took him 13 weeks. He made a full recovery and has now helped many people do the same thing. And I'd heard this before in NLP. It's called the Doctor Within pattern, but it was so far beyond normal. The idea you can talk to your body, you can talk to your unconscious mind, I found it difficult to believe. And even when I had my injury, it took me a long time to do that. I had so much stuff going on in my head. It was hard for me to talk to myself. Okay, can I heal? I couldn't do it because there were so many thoughts interfering. Anyway, I did do the same thing, the same pattern. And you know, I was meditating. I was talking to myself. I was like, "What's it going to take for me to heal?" And then you know, it was the time I was getting back into this. And yeah, I made an agreement with myself, and it was like I got better so much quicker. So eventually, the idea, I remember where I was laying as I did it, and it was just, it's hard to put into words. There is an idea that there is a higher intention. So what appears as problems or symptoms in a patient are often miraculously cured and caused by seemingly unrelated events, which leads me to the final chapter of spirituality and the conclusion that there is in fact a higher power. There are principles of huge parallel between spirituality and psychology. For example, faith is a confident expectation in the future. Spirituality not only fills in the gaps in psychology, but there are too many cases of suffering and illness that are only ever solved once the spiritual side is reintegrated. What I've been looking for was to finalise was a complete model of mental health recovery. I've been doing this 10 years. I have my own problems. It was only when at the time I put everything together that I became completely not only mentally healthy but enthusiastic. I had one question the whole time: what works? And the biggest feature from the Alcoholics Anonymous 12-step program, which is a very famous mental health program, is the acknowledgement. It's not necessarily, you know, you've got to do anything spiritual, but the acknowledgement, that's the language of a higher power. And if I was to say anything to someone, I would say consider it, because it changed my life. And I'd always believed, like when I was younger, we never went to never had counselling, but a few times I went to mediums, and they would tell me things, and there's no way that they could possibly know the stuff they were telling me. So that was my first experiences. My nan was spiritual as well, so in my family, there's healing hands and things like that, and I've always had that kind of understanding. But I'm just going to read this word for word, and just hear me out on this part. And I'd recommend this part because I believe the knowledge, there's a guidance, anything you need, anything in mental health, if you can listen within, and it could just not, it could be I'm willing to be wrong, but if you can listen to him to what you think is right for you, that's always it's always like the right direction. So the correct thing to do is to give an honest, true and full account of everything I feel has helped me and others to recover psychologically. And what I'm asking is that if you have mental health issues, to listen for this last part with an open mind. I'm going to help those who do not currently believe, those who have a weak belief, and those who also have limiting spiritual beliefs. Because this is where it gets a bad rap. It's because of the limiting things. People think everything will be fine, I'll just pray. And no, it's not like that. And I'll comment on the drawbacks later. There's a fine line between awakening and illusion. I think all of us live somewhere between reality and our interpretation of it. You have by now learned that there are two sides to every story, and that we all view the world differently. And to find truth is to get as many viewpoints as you can to construct your own world model. Psychology and spirituality were the same thing for thousands of years, until science said that anything we can't prove with hard evidence we will dismiss as invalid. So to disbelieve is actually a new thing. I define spirituality as an awareness of the interconnectedness between all people and life, and to be spiritual is to have a full empathy for others, know the differences between right and wrong, and decide accordingly based on one's own inner wisdom. It is also, to a more or less extent, the acknowledgement of capabilities outside of mainstream silence, such as healing and energy. There are many offshoots of this, such as clairvoyancy and physical healings, and much language today that refers to these principles, such as intuition or wisdom. We deny our mystical experiences to coincidence, and those that we can't deny, like our achievements, we forget. To be spiritual is to make decisions where one considers all effects of those actions and those decisions, and to think not through your own eyes, but as an observer who sees all parties involved. The reason I left this part till last is my objective is for people to feel good again, and if this had been said earlier, they might not have continued listening, and they would have missed things that would have helped them. You have to ask yourself where resistance comes from, and the answer would be associations and linkages to various meanings. One word I've written will have given a complete emotional and logical reaction in the reader or the listener before they even know what I'm going to say. I ask anyone watching who is already skeptical to do as I am, and I'm willing to be wrong about it, but I'm pretty sure, I'm convinced that it's true. But I'm willing to be wrong. If someone could say to me, look, it's not this, but it's actually this, because it could be metaphors. The processes I'm describing next could just be functions of the unconscious mind, the scientific subconscious. And I believed it was all the subconscious, but I believe it's more than that now. If I did not fully believe this, it wouldn't be here, would not be saying this. Some people already have spiritual beliefs to a certain degree. What I'm saying to you is to go further with it, because though people do not believe, those who do not believe enough, the more you believe, the more it makes a difference. So it's become quite popular in mainstream lately with stuff like The Secret and things like memes and just the various books on the universe and stuff. But I use the word God because people have been saying that for 2,000 years. And what you have to do is decide, is just to say, look, go through your own experiences. There'll be times when you do decide, but for me, it made big differences when I just decided, like, look, this is definitely true. And I went for the doubt. And this is where we go back through the past. You start remembering all your life experiences, start putting all the pieces together, It's like, do you know what? There's too many coincidences for this to all be. There's too many times. Like, I've got this document here where you can write it down called synchronicities, where you just write down like all the narrow escapes, all the things. There's no way, but because they happen so far apart, we dismiss them. Anyway, so you can just write them down. You know, there are times, might have been times in life we didn't doubt anything. It was just complete. This is what I'm doing. There's no second guessing. You just fully believed in something, whatever that was. At the time, I was most enthusiastic was when I fully believed in something. I believed in the future. I believed in me. I believed in God. I didn't realise it was God, but I did. It's strange. I wouldn't, because of the language of it. I didn't. But anyway, so truth occurs when people communicate and find a way to integrate both models of the world and find common ground. When you look for truth, you get reminded of clues, and a big one for me was Christians and other religious persons. They're always happy. As I said, there's always a cause to something, and it's up to you to conduct your own personal investigations to find out what truth is. Having someone to tell you a few potential markers on the map will help you on your journey. If I said to you, you're going to Germany, even if you don't like beer, but you've got to try it, it's better to compare to all the stuff we get over here. At least then you know about it. So that's what I'm trying to say. Is, well, next time you're in Germany, you know. So even if you don't currently think beer's good at all, try the German beer. So let's keep it basic. This is just for mental health, right? So I'm not saying that Mary, he created the earth or whatever, or Mary and Joseph did exist, or any of the stories in the Bible. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm specifically saying is there's a connectedness between us, and there is a voice sometimes inside that's different, that's quieter, that comes with a feeling. And it's like that for me. It's like I know what I need to do, and there's an energy, and I get energy, like just out. I can't explain where it comes from. It's not of it. It just feel it, just flow into me. Yeah. Anyway, so people look at different versions of psychology offshoots, and they talk about interconnectedness, but it's missing vital ingredients. So I use the word God for that. You know, I never had anyone knocking on my door during a cold winter talking about the universe. I believe the reason people dilute this stuff is purely for the fact that people won't accept it, because there's such a resistance, and because it's a complete change of the world model. It's okay, there's a God watching us all the time, and there's certain things he wants us to do, and there's certain things he doesn't. You know, and it's good. Most people are doing this all the time anyway. It's just the only real changes for me was just being stricter with like diet and things like that, take care of your body, and stopping like to pray more, because the idea, this could be a meditation. It could be something. When I said, right, I don't know what to do, and I pray and I acknowledge and I wait and I listen, like that's the main difference. And the believing, I've got more belief now, more confidence and stuff like that. So anyway, I'll get to all that later. So everything I was trying to do, whether it was to be, so yeah, I believe the reason people dilute this stuff. So you've got loads of people now, millions, all doing visualization exercises, because it's part of vision, it's part of the thing to do with God. But for only a few of them, the percentage of this will come true for, because they're missing this ingredient. So whether I was trying to be more present, more productive, everything increased in direct proportion that I was listening to the voice inside, that I was praying, and exponentially when I decided, you know, this is the last piece of the puzzle. It's true, there is a conscious being that we are connected, all connected to. One of the principles in the Bible is the more you believe, the stronger you are. Really, it's about being the best you can be and trying your best and listening and not having any of that in there, so you don't think, even if you're scared, even you always you know, you do things outside of your comfort zone. A lot of us are already doing the right things anyway. It's more commandments. Yeah, I'll make it simple. I'm not advocating any particular religion. The problem with religions are red herring problems. You know, people believe it leads to disempowerment, when it's like the most empowering thing I've ever found. Like, there is, you know, an observer who wants good for you and wants good for everyone. And the beliefs, like, I'll go how I interpret the beliefs and how empowering they are. So it's not like you're losing anything. It's very liberating. as I started to believe fully, it feels like I've been playing the game of life with one hand tied behind my back the whole time. It changes how you view people too. Everyone you're going to meet will have God as a mutual friend on Facebook. Whether he is approving of the person's character at that point in time when you meet them is another question. However, they have the potential and benefit of being good that you do. Mental health. So again, when people follow what's inside of them rather than a particular psychological theory, and they think they've got an intuition, they've got an instinct, right, I think I should be doing this. The symptoms disappear. When people ignore that is when symptoms get worse. Faith. If you can't trust in yourself, then trust in me. That was a big moment for me when I was down and I didn't believe in myself. The idea that God wants you to succeed and will help you takes fear and stress away. Of course he would. If what you're doing is good, then he would, everyone else would want you to do good as well. So too often we get caught up in how can I do something rather than just trying to be as productive as possible. That's a key point. We get stuck up in where am I going. It's just do things as much as you can. The important thing is to be of service. Appreciation, the concept of you are given a life. Wow, that's completely different. I'm given a life. To be able to live here, is completely the opposite of depression. And when you look at it from that perspective, it helps shift you to the idea of I'm given this day. The ability, just some chips, just some fries of that. No, I've got my day. The ability to appreciate, as I mentioned earlier, to be focused. I believe the source comes from peace of mind and the energy, granted energy, the peace of mind, the energy fuels the experience. Knowledge, I cannot express my gratitude for the knowledge I've received. Again, if you're getting up early, and this is where you get into nature as well, and you're always writing, it's like stuff comes into your brain, it's a portal, feels like stuff floods in. And again, it's just, they talk about the path less travelled, and we all have this idea in society, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do it in this order. And some of the people I've met who just followed their gut are incredibly happy people. And you get different rewards because you can't do things for people get worried about money and they think, I'm going to do this thing I don't feel inspired by or alive. And they deny the enthusiasm, and then they just feel like they're slowly dying, But when you go down something where you might not make a lot of money and things like that, or you have to, because challenges, what you learn, the vision, the sight, your physical body strength, you're more relaxed, your peace of mind, feelings of love, moments of joy, experiences, and it means going off the beaten track, but you do get rewarded in how you feel, and it's just. Because there's times when you have to put in so much work and that, and you have to risk your time. But you're doing everything you think is the right thing to do. You feel like sometimes if you're in the right place, it's all about learning. Just doing the worst you can be. The idea that he knows you. And you doubt yourself sometimes with someone. If he knows you, he knows what you're capable of, your experiences. You just trust in things and you just do your best. Strength through difficulty as well, you can pray. If you've got a mountain to climb over, sometimes you don't know how you're going to do, how you're going to get there, if everything's going wrong as well. And just the idea, you're not alone. There's times in your life when you've got to go up to the mountain. It's like if you want to get out of your career and you want to go to something else, it's to be on your own all the time. You have to do that a lot, and you don't feel alone. I don't believe in loneliness. I believe that we are constantly to be connected to something, to some source energy, and to be aware of that. It's like you don't need anything. Anyway, gets you through the difficult periods of your life. Improved self-image. Again, improved self-image. I just noticed that I know a lot of successful people, they just listen to their own opinion. They don't listen to doubts, and they believe in a higher power. And I believe that we are all capable. It's like we have, as I said, I feel like religion was spread. Some people spread religions, but I feel like it's been held back. because the peace of mind and the elevated feeling, it's like it's complete like self-acceptance, it's complete like enthusiasm and wonder. It makes the world more magical. It's like we're so all equal and have this like God-given intelligence, God-given power. So if I don't know what to do, there's been times, and it's like you need intelligence. Like you can pray for intelligence, you can pray for guidance, and just some of the things I've seen. It's absolute madness. It's like we're all equal. We all have this intelligence. We all have this guide. Anyway, there's always a way out. There's always been. I can't like she used to. Some of the stories. You know, not second guessing yourself. So have you ever tried to do? You know, it's like listening. You know, like. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Again, it comes through other people as well. Sometimes when some people say something to you and you're like, that's so true, like that's what I need to do next, or something like that. And this is, you know, you're making your mental health recovery. You might be in the completely wrong place and you need to get somewhere else. And there's like ways to do that. And these things you've got to learn. So you get advice from different people, so you learn to recognise that advice is from God, that advice that He's speaking through them. This is just how I see it anyway. So, you know, pick up the receiver, I'll make you a believer, says Depeche Mode. Reach out and touch faith. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, you know. Again, there's no more fear, no fear of death, fear of nothing. Discipline as well, yeah, it's good to be disciplined. The idea of something is religion, like you keep this time, I'm going to do that at that time. That's a very important element. It gives you another focus in life. So there's like if you invest in your body, if you invest in spirituality, getting to understand how this side of life works more, it's not time wasted. It pays dividends. Enthusiasm means possessed by spirit in Greek. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to get on to you know, you've got to be definite in what you're doing. Right. Limiting spiritual beliefs. Linking a spiritual meaning to everything. Oh, that's the third time I've seen that pair of shoes. That's a sign. No, don't buy it. Too much importance on an individual decision. Like people get caught up like, how's this one decision going to affect my whole future? You know, people get stuck on having the perfect route in life. Again, there's many different ways to get to where you want to be. They can be too flexible as well. Like, you know, Dalai Lama said, look, it's going to happen. Jesus as well, he was a fighter. So there's a huge amount of, how can I phrase this? Apathetic or lethargic people that will not do what they're supposed to do. And we can sometimes get stopped by things like this. And if you've got a vision, you're going forward, you've got to be able just to keep going and to not be, okay, that'll be fine. It's like, look, if it's important, you got to keep pushing and not be too flexible or accept, that's just the way that's just how it is. Trusting people and seeing the good. Again, a lot of people claim to be spiritual, but they're not. You've got to do your due diligence with everything and be aware that even people who are great people, they slip up and they make mistakes. So everything will work out. No, you've really got to take as much detail and care as you can. I'm going to visualize and manifest and create abundance. I don't believe that. I believe it's you get shown what to do next. Everything happens for a reason. Again, things just happen. If you're going to go with the flow, which flow, whose flow? You know, you need to be careful you're in the right rhythm. I have to sacrifice everything I want to do if I'm going to be spiritual. And that's not true. He said, aspire to be like me, but no man should try to become me. Okay, and again, it's faith. You know, faith, confidence, belief, motivation. So you write down all the experiences. Yeah. Energizing thoughts. Collect them. Okay, we are done. You can send me an email if you like. If this gets shared, send me an email at Danny@Undeniable Recovery. If this just as a friend on Facebook, just send me a little message. And I hope this is useful for you. Good luck.